Book Governing the Ungovernable, author Ishrat Hussain. Preface. Why is Pakistan perceived to be an ungovernable state? A label it never carried in the past. Can anything be done to restore it to the track from which it derailed? These are questions that are often asked by the global community and the public at large in Pakistan. We do not pretend to have either a magic wand to answer these very complicated but relevant questions or a crystal ball to foresee the future. In all humility, what we can do is to figure out why Pakistan was among the top 10 performing developing countries ahead of China, India, Vietnam, and many others in economic and social indicators, recording an average GDP growth rate of 6% annually for over 40 years until 1990. It was a peaceful country enjoying respect amongst the world community. Tourists and visitors from abroad were able to visit any part of Pakistan freely in what they found to be a safe and secure country of friendly, hospitable, and caring people. Thousands of students from African and Asian countries studied at its universities and professional colleges. What happened then over the following 25 years from 1990 to 2015? How did Pakistan get left behind both economically and in terms of social development in the region, let alone in comparison to China and Vietnam? The Indian economy was only 5 times larger than Pakistan's in 1990. According to the latest estimates, it is 8 or 9 times larger now. Pakistan has during this period gained notoriety in the international media as one of the most dangerous countries in the world. Even visitors who need to visit it for business purposes and are assured full security and safety are reluctant to come. Tourism has virtually vanished, notwithstanding many excellent institutions of higher learning in Pakistan. There is prevalent a famine of foreign students. This book is a modest attempt to understand the reasons for this contrast in the performance of Pakistan during two different periods, 1947 to 1990 and 1990 to 2015. The choice of the two periods is based on a close scrutiny of the broad economic trends and social patterns. The book strives to analyze the factors that can adequately account for the relatively robust accomplishments in the earlier period and the relative decline and stagnation in the second period. It represents a kind of quasi-natural experiment in exploring the ingredients that contribute to these different results. The starting point is a survey of academic literature, policy and plan reviews, and popular discourses since 1947 to identify the alternate explanatory hypotheses that have been advanced, and then test them against empirical evidence. This methodology cannot hope to match the rigorous standards set by professional economists, as there is no underlying quantitative model underpinning this analysis, which is hence necessarily and ad hoc in nature. The idea was, however, to use a multidisciplinary approach and avoid the limitations of economic modeling, including abstractions from the real world situation, a set of assumptions to keep the model simple, and the choices of variables to be included, some of which are not easily amenable to quantification. Using dummy variables was an option that was considered, but that could have also led to entanglements with econometric issues of specification omitted variable estimation techniques, and the robustness of the results. Data paucity was a further consideration as this volume is intended for a wider audience than just economists. I decided to follow a more selective qualitative evidence-based method and capture the richness of the different prisms of political scientists, sociologists, journalists, management and economists and the like. This study has benefited from the insights of influential and thoughtful individuals, focus groups, informal conversations, and consultations with people from a wide range of walks in life. In addition to scholarly research, studies of various government commissions in Pakistan have also been made use of. There are several features that make this case study distinct from earlier ones. The definition of governance here is not limited to state-centered institutions alone, but is multidimensional, covering a wide range of them. It is the first of its kind that examines in some depth the complete array of the institutions in a historical context. It blends academic literature with popular opinion on these institutions expressed in the media. Most of the academic literature and popular discourses analyze these institutions in isolation. To overcome this weakness, an attempt has been made to examine the behavior, norms, and actions of the society, polity, private sector, the military, religious organizations, and external actors that directly or indirectly impinge upon the performance and outcomes generated by these institutions. Emphasis is placed on their interlinkages and interdependencies. I utilized the broader concept of social, economic, and sustainable development rather than simply economic growth. There are examples where the countries have grown rapidly through indiscriminate utilization of its natural resources, whose benefits occur to a narrow minority at the top and which over time become unsustainable. Such countries have witnessed civil wars, social conflicts, a breakdown of law and order, and prolonged periods of economic decline. Pakistan has also been characterized as an economy where the state has been hijacked and markets rigged with uneven development, pronounced income inequality, and gender and regional disparities. This strategy was pursued by successive governments, whether military or civilian or a mixture of these, in order to further their own interests and of those belonging to a small elite class. In my definition, development is a more all-encompassing endeavor that results in better education and higher literacy, adequate healthcare, productive jobs and livelihoods, an acceptable level of nutrition and access to clean drinking water, electricity, roads, and infrastructure for ordinary citizens. Economic growth is critical as it induces investment in human and social development. An educated, healthy, well nourished, and skilled labor force then enhances productivity and raises output and incomes, resulting in higher economic growth. This virtuous cycle is therefore the key to broad based development. Our 80 districts of Pakistan rank low on the deprivation index, and the aim of the strategy should be to spread the benefits of development in such a way that these accrue disproportionately so to the citizens of these deprived districts. The growing militancy and the ascendancy of the jihadist elements and groups can also be explained in terms of the withering away of the state and its institutions. As the people became increasingly disillusioned and disaffected by the state institutions, These non-state actors stepped in to fill the vacuum and operated parallel system of justice, service delivery, and security. For example, the people in Sawat joined or supported the militant group because they were able to provide swift justice against criminals, as was earlier the case during the Wali of Swat's rules. Those unwilling to join the jihadists were coerced into doing so as there was no fear of retaliation or punitive action by the dormant and dysfunctional state institutions. The army continues to administer Sawat even after 8 years of the operation, as the civil administration is not yet equipped to assume charge. This brings us to instrument structures and processes through which the institutions exercise their authority: civil services, the federal, provincial, local governments, police, the prosecutory body, prisons, the parliament, judiciary. The entire spectrum of institutions is critically evaluated to assess their capabilities and shortcomings, but proposals have been developed for reforms of only a few selected institutions concerned with accountability, delivery of services, economic growth, social equity, and security that should have been prioritized. Successful restructuring of these 2 dozen institutions would have spillover effects on the other institutions, and the islands of good governance would go on expanding over time.